Mm, 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 mm. Dun, 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 dun. Du, 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 du. Du, 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 du. Pending friend requests. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I saw you celebrated 200 episodes of your news program. That I did. Okay. There may be some interruptions in today's stream. I need to take this call. I don't know when he's gonna. Oh wait, hold on. I don't know when. Sorry, I have some. Uh, I'm waiting for. Shane stopping by to give me something, and Ward War's supposed to call me, but he said he's gonna text me to set up the call. But hopefully they don't take too long because I'm gonna be asleep by like 2 at the latest. Kind of busy day. I just got. They keep trying to set this call up with me, but I sleep all day. Then when I wake up, I go straight to work. And he said he would call me in the morning today. So whenever that happens, I'll have to mute, take this call, and take down all the information that I need. But until then, we might as well keep reading some Jeremiah. No time like the present, huh? Jeremiah's gonna go to jail. Good morning, Auntie. I didn't know Jeremiah went to jail. Jeremiah about to get locked up. Not for a couple chapters, but what is gonna happen? All right, let's get right into it. No reason to dilly dally. Am I right? We're on chapter 16. We're still talking about Judah. God is rejecting Judah. God is rejecting Israel. Don't even pray for them. They gone. And we're going to get some prophecy about Judah's captivity. But here in a couple chapters, Jeremiah's going to go to jail. We're also going to go we're also going to debunk something that our friend Shiva keeps saying, that God commands child sacrifice. It never happens. He's misinterpreting some words. In fact, God explicitly says he never said that. So we're going to get to that here in a bit. But here we go. Chapter 16. The word of the Lord came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. For thus saith the Lord, Enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament nor bemoan them, for I have taken away from my peace from this people, saith the Lord, even loving kindnesses and mercies. God took his love and his mercies away from the children, and the children were slaughtered by the sword, and God didn't even shed a tear. I wonder how the soft Christians deal with that one. Both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting to sit with them to eat or to drink. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, Wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God? Then shalt thou say unto them, Because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. And ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, ye walk every one after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore will I cast you out of this land, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Yerp. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, The Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them, from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritances with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come upon thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely your fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know mine hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is the Lord. Once again, God pronounces evil on people. He speaks it, and it is. Same way he created everything. He speaks it, and it is. Without him speaking it, it is not. That includes bad stuff. As much as people hate to admit it, and they deny it, it's in here. Read all about it. Chapter 17. The sin of Judah. And how come some people are like, I'm sola scriptura. If it's not in the Bible, I don't believe it. But then they'll go to like all sorts of extra biblical philosophy and all sorts of, philosophical arguments and extra biblical writings and stuff. And like, whoa, wait. That's not in the Bible. Where'd you get that from? Oh, I got this from what are those? And I'm talking about Protestants right now. I'm not talking about Catholics or Orthodox. I'm talking about Protestants. Protestants who are sola scriptura, but then they appeal to extra biblical things to justify the Bible. And I'm like, that seems to contradict what the Bible says. That seems to go, that's extra biblical. That's not in the Bible. You had to add that, or somebody added that, and you took their word for it. No. That's a Young Money, Cash Money, no. Don't do that. But whatever. Chapter 17, the sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. Did my phone ding? Hold on, I got a text. Not from the person that I want. Pay attention. If my phone dings, you got to let me know if I miss it. Their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man. Ooh. Oh. That's... Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord, and maketh flesh his arm. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say what I'm thinking right now. I mean, that's pretty clear. If you know what the arm of the Lord is usually called, what people think of when they think of the arm of the Lord, what are most people going to say when you say, what's the Bible talking about when it says the arm of the Lord? Maketh flesh his arm. Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, whose hope the Lord is, and whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river. I just lost my page. What the heck? Just got another alert, but that's not. That's not a text. This is the time when I get like 100 alerts. You should put a sick beat on in the background and call this Bible bars. Nah. I do want to write a note here though, because this is interesting. I know what most people would say about it and how they would respond to that if I asked the question that's on my mind right now. I already know what they would say. Where's my pen? Oh. I'm not even going to say what I'm thinking, because if I'm wrong, I don't want to influence anybody. But I don't think I'm wrong. I'm going to write a question. Of course, there's no way I can even research into this, because anything I research is going to say the same answer. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land and not inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, in whose hope the Lord is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh. But her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful and wicked. I think that's what the next words are. Oh, no. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I knew that. That's actually a classic verse. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. As the partridge sitteth on eggs and hatcheth them not, so he that getteth riches, and not by right, shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his end shall be a fool. A glorious high throne from the beginning is the place of our sanctuary. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters. Heal me, O excuse me. Heal me, O Lord, and I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise. Behold, they say unto me, where is the word of the Lord? Let it come now. As for me, I have not hastened from being a pastor to follow thee, neither have I desired the woeful day. Thou knowest that which come out of my lips was right before thee. You knew what came out of my mouth would be right before thee, me. Be not a terror unto me. Thou art my hope in the day of evil. Let them be confounded that persecute me, but let not me be confounded. Let them be dismayed, but let not me be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. Thus said the Lord unto me, Go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say unto them, Hear ye the word of the Lord, ye kings of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord, Take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem. Neither carry forth a burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Sabbath day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their necks stiff, that they might not hear, nor receive instruction. And it shall come to pass, if ye diligently hearken unto me, saith the Lord, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the Sabbath day, but hallow the Sabbath day, to do no work therein, then shall there enter into the gates of this city kings and princes sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, they and their princes, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and this city shall remain forever. And they shall come from the cities of Judah, and from the places about Jerusalem, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the plain, and from the mountains, and from the south, bringing burnt offerings and sacrifices, and meat offerings and incense, and bringing sacrifices of praise unto the house of the Lord. But if ye will not hearken unto me to hallow the Sabbath day, and not to bear a burden, even entering in at the gates of Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, then will I kindle a fire in the gates thereof, and it shall devour the palaces of Jerusalem, and it shall not be quenched. This is the potter and the clay. Potter and the clay is repeated. It was Isaiah told the potter and the clay. Jesus tells the story of the potter and the clay. This is an interesting one for the people who deny the elect. Unless this is a different potter in the clay. But I think it's going to be the same story. Maybe this is a different one. Let me see. The word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, O house of Israel, here we go. Cannot I do with you as this potter, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. At what instance I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck up and to pull down and to destroy it. If that nation against whom I have pronounced turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil that I thought to do unto them. And at what instant I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to build and to plant it. If it do evil in my sight, that it obey not my voice, then I will repent of the good wherewith I said I would benefit them. Now therefore go to, speak to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I frame evil against you, and devise a device against you. Return ye now every one from his evil way, and make your ways and your doings good. And they said, There is no hope, but we will walk after our own devices, and we will every one do the imagination of his evil heart. Therefore thus saith the Lord, Ask ye now among the heathen, who hath heard such things? The virgin of Israel hath done a very horrible thing. Will a man leave the snow of Lebanon, which cometh from the rock of the field? Or shall the cold flowing waters that come from another place be forsaken? Because my people have forgotten me, They have burned incense to vanity, and they have caused them to stumble in their ways from the ancient paths, to walk in paths in a way not cast up, to make their land desolate and a perpetual hissing. Every one that passeth thereby shall be astonished and wag his head. I will scatter them as with an east wind before the enemy. I will show them the back and not the face in the day of their calamity. Then said they, Come and let us devise devices against Jeremiah, for the law shall not perish from the priest, nor the counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us smite him with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Give heed to me, O Lord, and hearken to the voice of them that contend with me. Shall evil be recompensed for good? And they have digged a pit for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them, and to turn away thy wrath from them. See, I think that never mind. I always want to go into this deep thing, but I'm tired of talking about it because it doesn't matter. There's no point in explaining what I'm thinking because people still don't get it. Therefore, deliver up their children to the famine and pour out their blood by the force of the sword. And let their wives be bereaved of their children and be widows. And let their men be put to death. Let their young men be slain by the sword in battle. Let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have digged a pit to take me and hid snares for my feet. Yet, Lord, thou knowest all their counsel against me to slay me. Forgive not their iniquity, neither blot out their sin from thy sight, but let them be overthrown before thee. Deal thus with them in the time of thine anger. So, the potter makes a pot and it's damaged. So he breaks it. And then he makes another pot and it's perfect. And God said, Can't I do the same with you that the potter did to that clay pot? Now, he says, if you don't turn from your ways, I'll smash you like I smashed that pot. But this is prophecy. This hasn't happened yet. So, and this is going to happen, and this does happen. Even though they were warned, it still happens. So, but God is saying, see, I think he speaks through through the prophets in ways that these fallen people will understand. He tells them, choose good, but then at the same time, he says, you're not going to choose good and I'm going to destroy you. And then he says, I made you. I made you imperfect and I'm going to destroy you. And then the ones that I make perfect, I made perfect and I won't destroy them. So what is the choice? Well, the choice is just, so it's like a contradiction, but there's a justification for the contradiction. The justification is he's just speaking in words they understand so that the ones who hear and know will hear and know, and then they'll choose to do right. But he already knew they were going to do right, and he made them to do right. So what's the point of even telling them? It's basically just practical. It's because we don't know that he already knows. So in the future, we can read these scriptures and we can read these examples and we can say, oh, well, I'm going to choose to do the right thing and then do the right thing. But He already knew and made us to do the right thing. So how can that make sense? The only way it makes sense to me is if he's just talking to Jeremiah and telling Jeremiah to talk to them in ways that they'll understand. Anyway, this is the part, the potter's broken bottle. So this is the part Jeremiah 19:5, where God explicitly says he never told anybody to sacrifice a child. They thought he was talking about sacrificing children. Somebody thought that. And then other people were sacrificing children, and then they bring it into Israel. But God never says to sacrifice your children. Never was the case. Now, that doesn't mean, well, he tells Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, knowing that it's not actually going to happen. Knowing that it's a test for Abraham, but he already knows Abraham's going to pass the test. Abraham already knows that God's going to provide. Abraham's son Isaac already knows that God's going to provide, and God already knows that he's going to provide. So really, there's no test here. Really, it's for future readers, for people like us and people like the other Israelites throughout the history of Israel who read and hear this story so that they get the message out of the story, which is obey God. Whatever God tells you, even if it seems crazy, if it's God, it's right. And you just do it. And so that we could know that. But Abraham knew he wasn't going to have to kill Isaac. Isaac knew he wasn't going to have to die. And God knew he wasn't going to kill Isaac. So there was really never any test. But then, homeboy, whose name I always forget, who says, Jephthah, who says, the next person that comes through that gate, I'm going to stone him to death. Next person that comes through the gate is his daughter. He did what was evil in God's eyes, and he suffered because of it. Don't make deals. Don't play games with God, because you'll lose. And that's the story there. That's the message there for the future. So you have a message that you get from Abraham, which is when God says something, when God says jump, you say how high. If God says I'm sick, you say, yes, massa, we sick. And then the message you get from Jephthah is, don't play games with God. Don't be testing him. What's up, Andy? Don't test God like that. Don't say, God, I swear the next person that comes through that door, I'm going to blast them. Because the next person that comes through that door is going to be your daughter. And then guess what God's going to say? Do it. You're going to do it, right? You said you were going to do it. You better do it. Don't play games with God. You should have knew better, Jephthah. But anyway, here we're going to see, what was the other one? Here we're going to see where God says he never commanded Israel to sacrifice their children. Thus saith the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of the people and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee. And say, hear ye the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Behold, I will bring evil upon this place. The witch whosoever, the witch, not that witch, the witch whosoever heareth, his ears shall tingle, because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place, and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that this place shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter. There you go. I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. And this references what Shiva brings up when he talks about Deuteronomy, the verse about making the sacrifices of the firstborn. And then Israel decides to start passing their children through the flames. And God's like, no, I never told you to do that. I'm talking about sheep. I'm talking about pigeons and doves, chickens. I'm not talking about your kids. He only did that to Pharaoh because they were evil. Okay. Well, and the Amalekites and the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Shuhites and the Amalekites. I said Amalekites already. Yeah. I'm not saying God never wiped out a bunch of children, because he did. I'm just saying he never commanded Israel or Christians or his followers to sacrifice children. And I will make void the counsel of Judah and Jerusalem in this place, and I will cause them to fall by the sword before their enemies, and by the hands of them that seek their lives, and their carcasses will I give to be meat for the fowls of the heaven, and for the beasts of the earth. And I will make this city desolate and in hissing. Everyone that passeth thereby shall be astonished and hiss because of all the plagues thereof. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. Wait. They shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straightness, wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. Oh, wait, is he talking about he'll cause the birds and the beasts to eat the flesh of the sons and the daughters? Or is he saying he's going to cause the parents to eat the flesh? There is that, I think he means that basically he's going to cause such a famine in the land that parents are going to start eating their kids, which you might be like, that sounds crazy. That can't be what that means. What's the story about the woman in the that takes the baby to her friend's house and they make a deal that they're going to eat each other's kids. So the one woman says, she says, well, you do your kid first. And the lady's like, okay. And they cook up the kid and eat it. And then the next day she goes over and she's like, okay, it's your kid's turn. And she's like, we ain't eating my kid. I'm full now. So she sues her. Where was that story? Did we do that one yet? I know we did that. I know we read that. That's got to be in Joshua or something. Bible story. Women eat the child. I think it's in Deuteronomy or Leviticus because it's a law. It's Deuteronomy and Leviticus. It's in Deuteronomy and Leviticus. Yeah, because it's a law. It's a precedent for a law. It's not. But yeah, the siege of Samaria, Second Kings. Oh no, wait. Okay, so it happens in Second Kings. We did read it, but it's about a prophecy that's made in Deuteronomy and Leviticus about a law, and it's laying out laws, and it says basically you break these laws, one day I'm going to make you eat your kids and your kids. You're going to starve to death. You're going to be so hungry if you disobey that you're going to eat your kids. And so this verse here, it probably is talking about, I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege and straightness, wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straiten them. Then shalt thou break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with thee, and shalt say unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people and this city as one breaketh the potter's vessel that cannot be made whole again. And they shall bury them in Tophet, till there be no place to bury. Thus will I do unto this place, saith the Lord, and to the inhabitants thereof, and even make this city as Tophet. Dude, Jeremiah is a perfect example of why Gnostics think that God is an evil demiurge, and soft Christians don't like to read the Old Testament. Shiva, did you hear what we just read? Jeremiah 19, Jeremiah 19:5. Now this is in reference, if you I should say Deuteronomy, Leviticus 18:21. Let me see what Leviticus 18:21 says. Anyway, when I was looking into the argument you make about God saying that they're supposed to sacrifice children, I was like, no, that's not right. Sure enough, that's not right. And it will reference you to Jeremiah. Now you might say, yeah, but that's newer. That's something they are retro post hoc trying to justify what happened before. But there's prophecy in Deuteronomy, and then it happens, and then in Jeremiah, he's like, this is why that happened. So it says, they have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it into my mind. So God's saying they were sacrificing their kids. I never even commanded that. Now, you could argue, and you did it last night. It's a very controversial talking point. I'm not saying it definitely is the case, just that there is an argument to be made. Right. And I heard you say last night, your argument would be that this is like post hoc, like that was in an older book, and then maybe the newer scribes read that and they're like, oh, that doesn't look good. Let's try to correct that. And so then they added to it. But you have to understand, well, I'm sure you do understand that from a Christian perspective who believes that God is outside of time and that the Bible is divinely inspired, it's not like a chronological book. Like it's talking about back then. And so I guess you have a good argument that it's post hoc justification, but I would say in God's eyes, there is no post hoc. But I'm pretty sure you're kind of misinterpreting that verse in Deuteronomy, and that God's not telling Israel to sacrifice their kids. Because even when he tells Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, he was never going to sacrifice Isaac. That wasn't going to happen. Abraham knew it, Isaac knew it, and God knew it, that it was not going to happen. That wasn't even so much for a test of Abraham's faith, but it was more for a story for future readers to see it and say, okay, if God says jump, you say how high. Also, the verses in Exodus. Yeah, but that's all Moses. Yeah, wherever it is, Exodus, Deuteronomy, wherever. Love that you're diving into this topic. We just read I'm reading, it's not really like a planned topic. It's just, I'm reading the whole Bible on stream. So whatever we get to, that's what I end up talking about. Still waiting for this call. If I get this call, I'm gonna have to dip, y'all. Well, I won't have to leave the stream, but I'll have to mute and take this call. Hasn't texted me back yet. He said, I have another call and we'll text you when it's over to set up your call. Dang, how long is this call? Thought it was just like a quick little thing. Where was I? Pronounce their necks that they might not hear my words. I think I was at this part. Make the city as Tophet. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled as the place of Tophet because of all. Did you hear this part, Shiva? How about this part? I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend. This is talking about uh, Judah. Judah's basically the coming punishment of Judah. And, you know, they're going to be starving and dying from famine. They're going to be so hungry that they're going to start eating their children, which happens more than you think. And we're more than cannibalism for the win. Yeah. Happens actually quite a bit in the Bible. I've heard people say, well, the Bible doesn't tell you not to eat people, but we know we're not supposed to eat people. Yeah, it does. It definitely does tell you not to eat people. There's many examples. And it's never nice. It's never a good thing. And the house of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled as the place of. I keep reading the same verse. Whose roofs they have burned incense unto all the hosts of heaven and have poured out drink offerings unto other gods. Then came Jeremiah from Tophet, whither the Lord had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the Lord's house and said it to all the people. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring upon this city and upon all her towns all the evil that I have pronounced against it, because they have hardened their necks, that they may not hear my words. Jeremiah is because see, this is a topic that I'm always arguing with people about. Did God create evil? And all the Christians will tell you, no, 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 it's against his nature. It's by definition, it's against God's nature. I've seen it in Isaiah and Jeremiah repeatedly saying God pronounce means speaks it into existence. The same, he speaks things into existence. God pronounces evil on people. He speaks evil on people. God creates evil. It's all throughout Isaiah and Jeremiah. So this is another one of these new philosophies, extra biblical philosophies, and bad exegesis that people just say God couldn't have possibly created evil. But then in the next breath, they'll tell you God created everything. I know some preppers who say they'll have no problem eating long pig. Not me. Nah, I ain't doing it. That's what's that movie where they crash the plane and it's like a Catholic, it's like a Catholic mission group or something, and there's a priest on the plane, and they're all like devout Catholics, and this plane crashes in the mountain and a couple people on the plane die. And here comes this dummy's here. Okay. Anyway, so they all die, or a couple of them die on the plane, and they're holding out, they're surviving, they make fire, they're huddled together in the cold in the plane, staying warm, and days go by, days are going by. They're trying to hike out and come back and see how far they are from anything and set up signs, and days are going by. Alive, is that what it's called? Yeah, that movie's crazy, and that's a true story too. And eventually, some of them start eating people, and the priest is like, listen, I'm not gonna judge you. Um, and you can confess it. I'm right here, but I'm not gonna take part. And I think if I remember right, by the end, he breaks and he eats it. And it's so crazy because in the movie, at least, I don't know if this is how it went in real life, but in the movie, he finally breaks and he eats some people meat. And the rescue plane shows up like 4 hours later. It's like, wow, no, dude, you could have just held out a little bit longer. You can't tell me that wasn't some sort of divine irony or some sort of mean joke. Cause like you could have just held out a little, at least in the movie, it was like literally the next morning after he finally breaks and eats it. The next morning, the plane shows up. But it's like there's like a deep moral question there. Like, was it was it sin that they all did that to survive? And I think kind of the conclusion that the movie gives is that it is sin, but um it's not like as bad as was a sin because the people were already dead. And then they're all gonna die if they don't do this bad thing. It's almost like there's a time for everything. Um time to time for war, a time for peace, a time for a time to eat people and a time to not eat people. I don't know, but yeah, that movie's crazy. Um anyway. Cannibalism. Chapter 20. Now Pashur, the son of Emer the priest, who was also chief governor in the house of the Lord, heard that Jeremiah prophesied. This is where Jeremiah's about to get locked up. They won't let him out. Jeremiah's going to jail. Um, Prophesied these things. Then Pashur smote Jeremiah the prophet and put him in the stocks that were in the high gate of Benjamin, which was by the house of the Lord. And it came to pass on the morrow that Pashur brought forth Jeremiah out of the stocks, then said Jeremiah unto him, the Lord hath not called thy name Pashur, but Magor-Missabib. Magor-Missabib. For thus saith the Lord, behold, I will make thee a terror to thyself and to all thy friends, and they shall fall by the sword of their enemies, and thine eyes shall behold it. And I will give all Judah into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall carry them captive into Babylon, and shall slay them with the sword. Moreover, I will deliver all the strength of this city, and all the labors thereof, and all the precious things thereof, and all the treasures of the kings of Judah will I give into the hand of their enemies, which shall spoil them, and take them, and carry them to Babylon. And thou, Pashur, and all that dwell in thine house shall go into captivity. And thou shalt come to Babylon, and there thou shalt die, and shalt be buried there, thou and all thy friends to whom thou hast prophesied lies. O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord was made a reproach unto me, and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name, but his word was in mine heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones, and I was weary with forbearing, and I could not stay. For I heard the defaming of many, fear on every side. Report, say they, and we will report it. All my familiars watched for my halting, saying, peradventure he will be enticed, and we shall prevail against him, and we shall take our revenge on him. But the Lord is with me as a mighty terrible one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble, and they shall not prevail. They shall be greatly ashamed, for they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. But, O Lord of hosts, that triest the righteous and seest the reins in the heart, let me see thy vengeance on them, for unto thee have I opened my cause. Sing unto the Lord, praise ye the Lord, for he hath delivered the soul of the poor from the hand of the evildoers. Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the days wherein my mother bare me be blessed. Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying, a man child is born unto thee, making him very glad. And let that man be as the cities which the Lord overthrew, and repented not. And let him hear the cry in the morning, and the shouting at noontide. Because he slew me not from the womb, or that my mother might have been my grave, and her womb to be always great with me. Wherefore came I forth out of the womb to see labor and sorrow, that my days should be consumed with shame. Message. Wow. Wow. Great book. Dude, Shiva, you got to read Jeremiah. Jeremiah's fire. Look, this is what my note says. My note says, Shiva, child sacrifice refutation. I put that in there like 6 months ago, and I just haven't got there yet. I already knew I was going to get there eventually. It just took a while. Where are we at? We're on 21. Jerusalem's about to get destroyed. They're going to destroy the earth. They're going to destroy Jerusalem. And the remnant, false prophets, judgments against Judah's kings. Oh, man, when you have a sticky note in your Bible and then you take it out, it leaves sticky residue on the page. That's going to make my pages stick together. And then when I try to do my speed reading world record, my pages aren't going to turn properly. I'm going to set the Guinness Book of World Records Bible speed reading record. I got to read the whole Bible in less than 74 hours. You think I could do it? I'm allowed to take a nap every 4 hours for 1 hour. I'm going to do it one day. I just need like a week off of work. And I need a servant woman to bring me coffee and snacks. And I can do it. I have to train myself to sleep for 1 hour every 4 hours. If I get a month off of work and I only sleep 1 hour every 4 hours for like 3.5 weeks and train my body to do that, and then we get a servant woman to bring snacks and coffee, I can break that world record. You know, I thought you got $10,000 for breaking a world record. You don't. You don't get anything. In fact, you have to pay to attempt to take the world record. And then if you win, you just get a plaque. So I'm probably not going to do that because I'm broke. I ain't paying nothing. I ain't paying to try to get a world record. And then what happens? I get it. I don't even get a reward. I get my name in a plaque. That ain't worth it. You have to pay just to get considered to try to set the record. Then if you get approved, then you got to pay again to have what's it called? Like a monitor. Yeah, you get a title. I thought you got like $10,000. You don't get nothing. It's ridiculous. Okay, I'm getting sleepy. Dude, they need to hurry up and call me. I'm going to be going to bed soon. This is not Very cool. If they haven't called me, if they haven't texted me by like 1, I'm gonna text them and be like, "Hey, I'm going to bed in an hour. Are you drinking out of a fishbowl? Are you drinking out of a candle jar?" Everybody always gets so critical of what I'm drinking out of. Don't worry about what I'm drinking out of, all right? Okay? You want to drink out of a sippy cup? Drink out of one. I'm not going to judge you. Stop being so critical of what I'm drinking out of. Worry about yourself. This is not, this is a, I don't know. What was this? Um, might have been, I'm trying to think, because this is not a standard pickle jar. I don't know what was in here. I just saved jars. Might have been, you know what this might have been? It might have been that, pickle or relish. Nah, you know what I think was in here was I have no idea. Maybe those, what are they called? Maraschetta. It's like carrots and cauliflower and red peppers in like vinegar. Pickled peppers, something like that. Might have been salsa. I don't know. Pickled pig's feet? Nah, I don't think I've ever had pickled pig's feet. I would try them, but they look kind of gross. Okay, chapter 21. We got to keep going. Peter Piper picked a pig's feet. Peter Piper picked a pig's feet. Jerusalem's about to get destroyed. Chapter 21. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord. When King Zedekiah sent unto him Pashur, the son of Melichiah, and Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah. Maaseiah. Dude, there's not enough consonants in this word. Maaseiah. Maaseiah. I say that word, I feel like I'm having a seizure. Maaseiah. There's no consonants in this word. The priest saying, "Oh, hold on, I gotta take this call." All right. His expressions are worrying me. No, that wasn't a. They just said I need to send some pictures and some pictures and some. What do I have in my phone though? She wants face shots, so problem is I have a hat on in a lot of these. Don't I just have like thumbnail pictures somewhere? I think they're all on my computer. Let me see. One, two. From the waist up? Am I still on the phone? Hello? Hello? What was that sound? I just heard like somebody's voice. I think that was my stomach. See all these thumbnail pictures I have a hat on. A lot of these are PNGs. He said send a bunch or I'll just send a handful. I don't know. He can go through all these and just pick. I got a ton. Is that 8 pictures? Waist up. Is this your waist? What's your waist? See, most of these go from like my wherever the screen is here. Does this count as my waist? Is this the waist up? I'm a little retarded. That's 10 pictures. You get something out of that. I sent him 10 pictures. I guess he just feeds them all into a AI thing, and and then it makes like, you know how on thumbnails it'll be like some people's thumbnails, it'll be like a, not a cartoonized image, but basically it's gonna be like a brand. Their brand is gonna have, look at this freaking bald spot I got going. What's it called? Soup pictures. I sent some soup pictures. But like, you run it into AI and then it makes like a computerized version of me, so that all the pictures and all the thumbnails will be on theme. Whatever their theme is. I don't know what it looks like yet. He's like, you can take one on your phone right now. I'm like, no, I'm like tired, ready to go to bed, been working all night, hair looking all crazy, looking like I'm going bald. I need a haircut too. This is usually when I start wearing a hat, right about now, until I get a haircut. And then I gotta write a bio, like an introductory bio type thing. So I told him I'm gonna think about what I want it to be in it. I'll write it up and send it to him by tomorrow. Them, tell us about yourself. Me, begin singing an Alan Jackson song. A shout out to all the lip readers out there who know all the secrets. No, I was trying to get details that I don't think they have their. I'm trying to find out, do you got the lineups made yet? Do you know what the topics are going to be? Who am I going to be debating? What's the topic going to be? I want to know now. But they don't have that stuff. That stuff's not known yet. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say, so I'm going to stop saying stuff. But anyway, I probably shouldn't be divulging anything. I don't know anything. All I know is I had to send some pictures. That's all I know. But I was trying to get some deets. I didn't get any deets. I was trying to get all the inside deets. I failed. Sorry, chat. You don't get any inside deets from me because I don't got any inside deets. I don't know nothing. I don't know when it's starting. I don't know what the topics are going to be. I don't know nothing. I know a little bit, but I'm not going to say it. Okay. Back to this. Now, one more thing that has to get done. One second, then we'll finish this. Okay. Oh, I just got coffee on my Bible. right. Where was I? Very glad that man be the city's overthrew, repented not. And cried morning, shouting at noontime, because he slew me not from the womb, that my mother might be my grave, and her womb to be always grave with me. Womb to see labor and sorrow, that my days should be consumed with shame. 21. We're on 21. That's where we are. All right, chapter 21. Where are we going to? 25? 26? I don't know if I'm going to make it that far because it's noon. I got to stop in about 30 minutes ish. We'll see. Chapter 22. I'm going to get my Bible out and read along. Cool. You have a King James? That's what we're in. We're in a King James. We're on Jeremiah 21. If you don't have a King James, you can still read along. The words might be a little different, which is cool because if there's something crazy different, put it in chat. I'm always interested to know you know, do the heuristics and figure out the different translations. Chapter 21. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord. Oh, no, wait, I did start reading this. Oh, yeah, we were at the Ma'asaiah. The word which came unto Jeremiah from the Lord when King Zedekiah sent unto Pashur the son of Melchiah and Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, saying, Inquire, I pray thee, of the Lord for us, for Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon maketh war against us. If so be that the Lord will deal with us according to all his wondrous works, that he may go up from us. Is that the first time Nebuchadnezzar's been mentioned? No, I think Isaiah mentioned Nebuchadnezzar. Then said Jeremiah unto them, Thus shall ye say to Zedekiah, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Behold, I will turn back the weapons of war that are in your hands, wherewith ye fight against the king of Babylon and against the Chaldeans, which besiege you without the walls, and I will assemble them into the midst of this city. And I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in anger and in fury and in great wrath. And I will smite the inhabitants of this city, both man and beast. They shall die of a great pestilence. And afterwards, saith the Lord, I will deliver Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his servants, and the people, and such as are left in this city, from the pestilence, from the sword, and from the famine, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those that seek their life. And he shall smite them with the edge of the sword. He shall not spare them, neither have pity, nor have mercy. And unto this people thou shalt say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. He that abideth in this city shall die by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. But he that goeth out and falleth to the Chaldeans that besiege you, he shall live, and his life shall be unto him for a prey. For I have set my face against this city for evil, and not for good, saith the Lord. It shall be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. So he basically says, you can either stay in the city and you can be killed in war. And this is the same thing they said like 10 chapters ago. You can either stay in the city and you can die from starving to death, or you can die from disease, or you can die from being killed by your enemies, or you can run. And if you run, you're going to get captured and you're going to get made into slaves for the rest of your life. Those are your options. Free will. Those are your options. And touching the house of the king of Judah, say, Hear the word of the Lord. O house of David, thus saith the Lord, execute judgment in the morning, and deliver him that is spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor. Lest my fury go out like fire, and burn that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doings.
Behold, I am against thee, O inhabitant of the valley and rock of the plain, saith the Lord, which say, who shall come down against us, or who shall enter into our habitations? But I will punish you according to the fruit of your doing, saith the Lord. And I will kindle a fire in the forest thereof, and it shall devour all things round about it. The NIV calls them Babylonians instead of Chaldeans. Um, it also calls them Babylonians. Well, it says Babylon, the king of Babylon, but then it says the king of Babylon and against the Chaldeans. So yours says the king of Babylon and against the Babylonians. That's weird because I'm pretty sure the Chaldeans are not the same as the Babylonians. Like it does talk about Chaldean, or it does talk about Babylon here. Are the Chaldeans the same as the Babylonians? Are the Chaldeans and the Babylonians the same? Closely related, but not identical. Yeah. Yeah. So, see, that's weird that, by the way, I'm not a fan of the NIV, but you saying it never said Chaldeans because, uh, see, that would be inaccurate because it's talking about two separate people here. The Babylonians are going to come. Nebuchadnezzar is the king of Babylon and the Babylonians. The Chaldeans is a separate group. That's why it says the Babylonians are going to come and they're going to burn your city down and they're going to kill all of you. If you run, the Chaldeans are going to catch you and they're going to take you back to Babylon and make you slaves. So either way, you're going to Babylon. But they're similar, but they're not quite the same group of people. It calls them Babylonians every time in this section. Yeah, see, that's the NIV simplifying it, but it's a bad simplification because they're two separate groups. Chapter 22. Thus saith the Lord, go down to the house of the king of Judah, and speak there this word, and say, hear the word of the Lord, O king of Judah, that sitteth upon the throne of David, thou and thy servants, and thy people that enter in by these gates. Thus saith the Lord, execute ye judgment and righteousness, and deliver the spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor. And do no wrong, do no violence to the stranger, the fatherless, nor the widow, neither shed innocent blood in this place. Yeah. Oh, no. Thanks for pointing it out. I think that's interesting that they wouldn't separate the two. I mean, they're close enough that I guess it's not. I don't know. I don't know if it's totally necessary to separate them. Like either way, even the Chaldeans were part of southern Babylon, so I guess technically they are all Babylonians. But it's like Judah and Jerusalem are both, they're all Israelites, but it's two separate groups within Israel. It'd be like calling them all Babylonians is like calling North Koreans and South Koreans just Koreans, even though there's a big difference between the two. For if ye do this thing indeed, then shall there enter in by the gates of this house kings sitting upon the throne of David, riding in chariots and on horses, he and his servants and his people. But if ye will not hear these words, I swear by myself, saith the Lord, that this house shall become a desolation. For thus saith the Lord unto the king's house of Judah, thou art Gilead unto me, and the head of Lebanon. Yet surely I will make thee a wilderness, and cities which are not inhabited. And I will prepare destroyers against thee, every one with his weapons, and they shall cut down thy choice cedars and cast them into the fire. And many nations shall pass by this city, and they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore hath the Lord done thus unto this great city? Then they shall answer, because they have forsaken the covenant of the Lord their God, and worshipped other gods, and served them. Weep ye not for the dead, neither bemoan him, but weep sore for him that goeth away, for he shall return no more, nor see his native country. For thus saith the Lord, touching Shallum, the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, which is reigned instead of Josiah his father, which went forth out of this place. He shall not return thither any more, but he shall die in the place whither they have led him captive, and shall see this land no more. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work, that saith, I will build me a wide house and large chambers, and cutteth him out windows, and it is sealed with cedar, and painted with vermilion. Shalt thou reign because thou closest thyself in cedar? Did not thy father eat and drink and do judgment and justice, and then it was well with him? He judged the cause of the poor and the needy. Then it was well with him. Was not this to know me, saith the Lord? But thine eyes and thine heart are not but for thy covetousness, and for to shed innocent blood, and for oppression, and for violence to do it. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, the king of Judah: They shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, my brother, or Ah, sister. They shall not lament for him, saying, Ah, Lord, or Ah, his glory. He shall be buried with the burial of an ass, drawn and cast forth beyond the gates of Jerusalem. Go up to Lebanon and cry, and lift up thy voice in Bashan, and cry from the passages, for all thy lovers are destroyed. I spake unto thee in thy prosperity, but thou saidst, I will not hear. This hath been thy manner from thy youth, that thou obeyest not my voice. The wind shall eat up all thy pastors, and thy lovers shall go into captivity. Surely then shalt thou be ashamed and confounded for all thy wickedness. O inhabitant of Lebanon, that makest thy nest in the cedars, how gracious, how gracious shalt thou be when pangs come upon thee, the pain as of a woman in travail. As I live, saith the Lord, though Coniah, the son of Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, were the signet upon my right hand, yet would I pluck thee thence. And I will give thee into the hand of them that seek thy life, and into the hand of them whose face thou fearest, even into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and into the hand of the Chaldeans. And I will cast thee out, and thy mother that bare thee, into another country, where ye were not born, and there shall ye die. But to the land whereunto they desire to return, thither shall they not return. Is this man Coniah a despised broken idol? Is he a vessel wherein is no pleasure? Wherefore are they cast out, he and his seed, and are cast into a land which they know not? O earth, 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 hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, write ye this man, childless, a man that shall not prosper in his days. For no man of his seed shall prosper, sitting upon the throne of David and ruling more in Judah. Man, these are big chapters. What time is it? 23 is a really big chapter. We'll probably do 23 and then stop. I don't know. 24 is kind of short. So maybe we can do 23 and 24. But I got to head out soon. Just trying to see if this other person has texted me back yet. What the? I won't stop until I get a response. It's JD Vance, and I'm determined to speak with you. I won't stop until I get a response. Type stop to end. My response is going to be stop. And then it'll stop. That's not JD Vance. That's a bot. No, I'm not going to vote for JD Vance. Won't do it. I'll probably end up voting. I don't know. I guess I would if he was the only option. What am I? This is not politics time. This is Bible time. Chapter 23. This is a long chapter. This is like 2 whole pages. So we're about to just run it. This is we're going to cover the remnant. The remnant are the, and see, this also kind of explains the fiery language of battle that God uses. I will annihilate all of you from the face of the earth. But there's going to be a remnant. So some are going to be left. So not all of you. It's because it's the same reason when he says, wipe out all the Amalekites. But then there's Amalekites later. And I explained this a long time ago when we were in Deuteronomy, that there were different clusters of Canaanites or Amalek, the Amalekites, all over the place. That group that they killed was not the only group of Amalekites. They may have actually wiped out every man, woman, and child and animal if Saul had obeyed in that area. But then later they go do it in another area, and there's more in another area. So that's why there's people will say, oh, God said wipe out all of them. But then a couple chapters later, you hear that they're still around. So obviously they didn't wipe them all out. No, they wiped all of them out in that one tribe. So that one group of Amalekites in that area that they were attacking, they wiped all of them out. But then there's another group of Amalekites over there that they hadn't even got to yet. And then there's another group on that side and another group over there. Like, there were multiple clusters of Amalek, and it's not just them. There's the Hittites and the Shuhites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and so on and so forth. Same thing with Israel. Or the other argument is that it's just hyperbolic language, hyperbolic battle language, wartime language. We're going to annihilate all of Iran, all of the terrorists in Iran. We're going to wipe them out. We're not actually going to wipe out all of them. God says he's going to wipe out all of Israel. Everyone's going to die. And this is why I always have to explain to people, all is a qualitative statement. It's not a quantitative statement. When you say all, you're saying the vast majority. You're not saying every single one. That's not what people mean when they say all. It's not a number. It's not 100%. All does not equal 100%. All is the quality of almost everyone. The vast majority of them is all. So when he says, I'm going to wipe out all of Israel, but then he says, but there's going to be a remnant left over. Those are the ones that become slaves. And then most of them are going to die while they're slaves, but they're going to have kids before they die. And those kids are going to go on. So there's still going to be a remnant of Israel left. So that's what we're about to read about, is the remnant and the false prophets. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith the Lord. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days, this is some messianic prophecy right here. In his days, Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, wherefore he shall be called the Lord our righteousness. All uppercase. The Lord our righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all the countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Mine heart within me is broken because of the prophets. All my bones shake. I am like a drunken man, and like a man whom wine hath overcome, because of the Lord, and because of the words of his holiness. For the land is full of adulterers. For because of swearing the land mourneth. The pleasant places of the wilderness are dried up, and their course is evil, and their force is not right. For both prophet and priest are profane. Yea, in my house I have found their wickedness, saith the Lord. Wherefore their ways shall be unto them as slippery ways in the darkness. They shall be driven on and fall therein. For I will bring evil upon them, even the year of their visitation, saith the Lord. And I have seen folly in the prophets of Samaria. They prophesied in Baal and caused my people Israel to err. I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem an horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen also the hands of evildoers, that none doth return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets: Behold, I will feed them with wormwood, and make their drink the water of gall. For from the prophets of Jerusalem is profaneness gone forth into all the land. Thus saith the Lord of hosts: Hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of the Lord. Also, every time that he's saying that they've become adulterers, that's likely due to the multiplying of wives. Because even the kings had multiple wives. And any red pill polygyny preacher that tells you that men can't commit adultery is an idiot. Just so you know. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts concerning the prophets. Oh, I already read this. 16. Thus saith the Lord of hosts: Hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not of the mouth of the Lord. Exactly. And that's where you get people saying that having multiple wives is okay. That's where you get cult leaders and false prophets telling people that multiple wives is totally biblical and it's acceptable by God. He never says not to do it. That's where you get that stuff. The vanity of their own heart, doing the evil that's within their own heart. They're basically just want to have sex. They're sodomites. People think sodomy is just gay booty stuff. No. Sodomy is any unnatural sex act. I would say If you have multiple wives, you're a sodomite because that's not natural. Not Maybe it's natural if you have an animalistic nature or a secular nature of vanity of the world and you think with your lower brain, but if you have the nature of God or your nature once you're born again of the spirit, not of the flesh, then you see that that's vanity, that's adultery, and you're a sodomite. Take that. You can tell Rob Kolkowski or whatever the heck his name is that I said that. Debate me. They say still unto them that despise me, the Lord hath said, Ye shall have peace. And they say unto every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, No evil shall come upon you. For who hath stood in the counsel of the Lord, and hath perceived and heard his word? Who hath marked his word and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of the Lord shall not return until I have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him, saith the Lord? Do not I fill heaven and earth, saith the Lord? I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. How long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal. The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, saith the Lord? Is not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor. Behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that use their tongues and say, He saith. Behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them and cause my people to err by their lies and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord. And when this people, or the prophet, or a priest shall ask thee, saying, What is the burden of the Lord? Thou shalt then say unto them, What burden? Ha ha! I will even forsake you, saith the Lord. I like that. And when this people, or the prophet, or a priest shall ask thee, saying, What is the burden of the Lord? Thou shalt then say unto them, What burden? I will even forsake you, saith the Lord. There is no burden of the Lord. The Lord takes your burden. What burden? What kind of prophet are you? What kind of priest are you asking about what is the burden of the Lord? What burden? No burden. Your burden's not even real. You never had a burden. You just thought you had a burden because you were trying to carry the world on your shoulders, not knowing God's carrying the world. You ain't got no business having no burden. Your burden doesn't exist. It's in your mind. It's a trick from Satan. And as for the prophet and the priest and the people that shall say, the burden of the Lord, I will even punish that man in his house. Thus shall ye say, every one to his neighbor, and every one to his brother, What hath the Lord answered? And what hath the Lord spoken? And the burden of the Lord shall ye mention no more, for every man's word shall be his burden. For ye have perverted the words of the living God, of the Lord of hosts our God. Thus shalt thou say to the prophet, what hath the Lord answered thee? And what hath the Lord spoken? But since ye say the burden of the Lord, therefore thus saith the Lord, because ye say this word, the burden of the Lord, and I have sent unto you, saying, ye shall not say the burden of the Lord. Therefore, behold, I, even I, will utterly forget you. I will forsake you, and the city that I gave you and your fathers, and cast you out of my presence. And I will bring an everlasting reproach upon you, and a perpetual shame which shall not be forgotten. Burdened by what has been. No such thing. Um, what are we at? 12:35. Oh man, he's taking too long. I'll do 24. 25 is a long one. I'm not doing all of 25. 24 though is pretty short, and then that will. Well, there's 50 in Jeremiah, right? Oh yeah, we're not getting through it this week. No, we're not going to get through this till next week. There's 55. 52. Okay, I'll do 24 because it's short. Chapter 24. The Lord showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord. We have a parable here. 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord. After that, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and the princes of Judah with the carpenters and smiths from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. 1 basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe. And the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. Then said the Lord unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs, the good figs, very good, and the evil, very evil, that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them that are carried away captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. For I will set mine eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again to this land, and I will build them and not pull them down, and I will plant them and not pluck them up. And I will give them an heart to know me, that I am the Lord, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, for they shall return unto me with their whole heart. Listen to this. And as the evil figs which cannot be eaten, they are so evil. Surely thus saith the Lord, so will I give Zedekiah the king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem that remain in this land, and them that dwell in the land of Egypt. And I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, for their hurt to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse in all places whither I shall drive them. And I will send the sword, the famine, and the pestilence among them, till they be consumed from off the land that I gave unto them and to their fathers. That's deep. Ain't no saving, ain't no sense praying in them no more. They gone. And it's interesting. This is why you need to study up on the Old Testament before you go trying to read Revelation. A lot of people will just jump to like the Gospels and Revelation. Everybody when they start reading the Bible likes to jump straight to the New Testament, and often they jump into Revelation because they hear it's about the end times. It's crazy. It's the craziest book. It's about the end times. So they'll jump into Revelation they're ahead to the last page of the book. You want to read the last page of a book first. Why would you do that? But Christians do it all the time. New Christians who have no business reading Revelation. They'll jump into Revelation. When you go through the Old Testament, then you get to the New Testament. Then the things Jesus and the disciples and Paul are saying make a lot more sense. Then when you get to Revelation at the end, instead of reading it early on like a crazy person and thinking you know about the end times, you read Revelation after you've gone through the Old Testament, you see, oh, plague, pestilence, famine, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the famine, the pestilence, war, the sword, the plagues. Oh, well, that's what God's talking about that way back in Jeremiah. And then Paul has visions. Revelation is not, it's called Revelation for a reason. It's not called the book of prophecy. He's not prophesying, he's revelating. It's being revealed to him that what happened then is always happening and it's going to happen again. Is the Matrix about the Bible? No. Didn't you ask this like a week ago? Didn't we have this conversation like a week ago? But yeah, that sword, the famine, the pestilence, and then death, which all of them lead to death, but that's basically the four horsemen of the apocalypse. But crazy that we call them the four horsemen of the apocalypse when this is in the year 600 BC. They're being talked about. They're just not being called horsemen because this isn't this is a dream too. This is God speaking. And then John of Patmos has a dream, and it's the same thing that's being talked about here 600 years earlier. Jeremiah 23:33 through 40 was amazing. 23:33 through 40. Yeah. Yeah, the stuff about the burden. Yeah. Yeah, people for like God casts out all fear, doubt, and worry. When you're born again, you realize that you never, and it's a great way to live when you realize that everything you're going through, everything that seems really bad, there's no reason to fear. There's no reason to doubt. There's no reason to be worried about anything. Worry. What is worry? What do I have to be worried about? I could die tomorrow. Praise God. Let's go. I'm ready. You know? Burden. What do you mean burden? I don't have no burden. Even if I lost my job tomorrow, kicked out of my apartment, back on the street, sure, my lowly human habits would force me to be like, oh, this sucks. What am I going to do? But I shouldn't do that. I have no reason to do that. I should just be like, all right, God, what's next? Just in everything. All right, that kind of sucks. What are we doing now? What's next? And then another door opens and you do something different. Take no thought of tomorrow. Take no thought of tomorrow. God's ways are light. There is no burden of the Lord. There's no fear. There's no doubt. There's no worry. God casts out all of that. Yeah. So, Rowdy, we just talked about this like a week ago. And I'm pretty sure you were here. Maybe you weren't. I think maybe somebody else brought it up because they heard the word Nebuchadnezzar. It's going to sound crazy, but I never thought that the Bible preaches against oracles and prophets of old. Well, to be clear, it's not saying there that all the prophets are bad. It's talking about the false prophets. There are prophets in the Bible. Jeremiah, we're reading Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a true prophet of God. Isaiah is a true prophet. David, Moses, these are real prophets. What it's talking about there is the false prophets who don't speak for God. They don't know God. They never knew God. And they're prophesying for false gods and, so it's not saying all prophets are like that. It's talking specifically about the false prophets. But there are legit prophets in the Bible. It talks a lot about watchers of the time, basically like fortune tellers, stargazers, astrologers, people who do, what's your sign? Ooh, let me read about your sign and tell you, oh, we're compatible. And all that stuff is demonic. It's evil. I hope Marilyn's here to hear that. That's witchcraft. And the Bible says you shouldn't suffer a witch to live. Why do you think we did the Salem witch trials? Because they're supposed to be burnt at the stake. We're bringing back the witch trials. We're going to make witch trials great again. Stargazers, astrology, watchers of the time, fortune tellers, crystal balls, palm readers, tarot cards, all that stuff is demonic witchcraft. That's evil. And the Bible talks about that a lot. Star demons. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it's not saying all prophets are bad. It's that part that we read was specifically talking about false prophets. Anyway, I'm going to head out, guys. I got to get going. Get going. Oh, I've had the dono bar on the whole time. I usually turn the dono bar off during the Bible studies. I'm not trying to grift during the Bible streams. Send your money to go tithe at your church on Sunday. Don't send me money during the Bible streams. If you do, I'm not going to return it. I'm not going to refund it, but but that's not supposed to be up there when I'm doing the Bible streams. I just forgot to turn it off. I might have had it up there yesterday too. It's probably been up there since Monday. My bad. Anyway, I'm going to head out, guys. Thank you for hanging out. God bless. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday morning. We will be back tomorrow. I skipped the gym today because I had to do grocery shopping. But I'll be back tomorrow after I go to the gym. Yeah, we'll read more of Jeremiah tomorrow. We'll probably finish Jeremiah next week. Lamentations will knock it out in a day. I think it's only 5 chapters. And then we get to Ezekiel, which should be interesting. But that's it, guys. God bless. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you later. Doses.